Hello and welcome to Cindershadow Gaming. I am your host, Cindershadow, and this is This Week in Magic. Well, part of the reason for that intro is just the sheer amount of information that came out for Magic the Gathering is immense. The Wizards of the Coast sat there and lined up everything to do with Magic the Gathering over the next year and pretty much and a half. The new sets, the new secret layers, the new stuff coming out, new partnerships, new things that just don't interest me. Overall, it's been an interesting year since they did the Fire design version where they're doing this top-down stuff. Things have been overpowered, really pushed, and it needs to come down a few notches in order for Standard to even be playable. And probably one of the biggest things I saw come out of the announcement is that there's going to be 10 sets in the next Standard rotation. Wizards of the Coast, you need to address Standard and get it starting to rotate early. 8 sets is far too many. 10 sets is going to be excessive. We don't want to play modern level Magic. We want to play Standard level Magic. And we're going to get completely into this. Now, because I didn't watch the showcase, I've been working mad amount of hours. So, I've got, of course, the article that they put up after the fact, which is fine because this shows us quite a bit of what they've got. What happened in Magic Showcase 2021? Well, there's a whole big list here, but they talk about Midnight Hunt, Innistrad, and Crimson Vow. But the biggest thing in there, we'll scroll down to that one first because this one actually excites me out of everything I saw, was that they're coming out with what's called Innistrad Double Feature. I love this concept. This concept for a Magic the Gathering set is unlike something we've ever seen before in Magic the Gathering, where they've taken cards from both sets and put them into this double feature as alternate art forms of all the cards. Now, they are reducing the amount of cards that go into this double feature, unfortunately. So you're not going to be picking 700 cards. Your pool is back down to a regular size set of 350 cards or whatnot. So that makes a very unique experience when it comes to draft. Each set will have its own draft experience because they're being set 2 months apart. Originally, when they were bringing this out, it was supposed to come out as together. They were supposed to launch initially. There was a lot of talk and a lot of things of people saying, listen, what you're doing here is going to limit the sales of the set. Now you're going to have one set of the vampires versus the werewolves. You can then pin them up against each other, and depending on which set was more powerful, the other set is going to severely lack in power level, and it's going to make it look very difficult. Now, the biggest risk probably between these two sets is, will people go to Midnight Hunt over Crimson Vow or vice versa? Well, right now we know Crimson Vow has box toppers, making it a little bit more enticing than Midnight Hunt. And I do suggest we're going to see either a 10-card land version go through both sets, where the lands it'll complete the entire cycle of 10 different lands ultimately between the two sets. Now, because of this, that is one of the reasons why you want to play both sets. Otherwise, you're probably going to see a few cards overlap. Now, and that's where the overlap comes from with this new double feature. And from my understanding is they're doing one set this way, so technically this is your actual standard set than the other two sets. The other two sets are just bigger. Where are we going to go with this? But they're going to limit the amount of rares, uncommons, mythics, everything that will be in this one double feature set. So it's going to make things very strange and unique. Until we get a full breakdown on how these two sets play out, this also means that they're going to have to do spoilers at the same time. Right? You would have Midnight Hunt going into Crimson Vow. Pretty much Midnight Hunt would end and you would start the Crimson Vow spoilers, but now you won't be able to do that unless this comes out shortly after Crimson Vow, which makes it a lot longer of a wait for this. They're saying stores in early 2022. Midnight Hunt is our next set, I believe. These come out this fall. So yeah, the double feature doesn't come out until such a point where the draft sets are waning. And this might bring in a new version of that. It's going to be very interesting in that sense. It's going to kind of be like a Chaos draft, but between the two sets, and it's instead of you buying 2 separate booster packs, you now buy 3 of this draft booster, and then you get this full experience of both sets. And honestly, I may just wait to draft this set until this comes out, because that would be a lot more fun, I think, ultimately, seeing what they mishmash together between these two sets. It's going to be very unique, and I really enjoy the idea of the double feature, mainly because we're going to be seeing black and white alternate art cards, which I want desperately. I haven't seen them yet, and I just want them. Plain and simple. Other things coming out. We've got the new store championship is coming back to the to the stores, and then you get the worm coil engine if you win. Collected company, I believe that's top 8, and then everyone gets an arbor elf. All of these cards are probably going to be worth quite a bit. The untapped target forest is really nice. That goes on an elf deck. Collect the Company is a highly sought after card, and so is Worm Coil Engine. Worm Coil Engine's one of the big beefy cards of the past that just is very powerful. Now, the biggest thing that was on here was that WPN premium stores will also have the store name printed on them, confirming your championship victory from from every time you play one. So this may reduce the value of the Worm Coil Engine, which is great. I think that makes it a little bit more tradability. But at the same time, it makes it very strange. So now you're going to have these cards out in the wild that are going to say they're from this store or this store or this store, which is going to be very strange in the long run. And it's a uniqueness to the championships that I think was kind of missing from it. They used to give out play mats with it. Hopefully that comes back, but it will be interesting to see. They've also got a commander party coming out to celebrate the return of Innistrad, where you'll join a faction and jump into the story experience through commander play. This type of commander play where it tells a story and the decks have rules and stuff like that, where it's not open to any deck playing commander, makes it a lot more enjoyable. Last time I played commander in the store, I wanted to flip the table, and I now will not play commander in my local game stores, mainly because I go up against people that just sit there and on turn 2 are ending the game because they've already comboed off. And I just sit there and I look at it. This is not the point of commander. The point of commander is to sit there, enjoy some fun with some fellow people that want to play the game, and not watch you combo off on turn 2. To me, that's not fun. That's why that's a complete waste of my time. And I'm pretty sure I turned to him and said that, thanks for wasting our time. This is not enjoyable at all. I sit there and I play a group hug style of deck where I'm giving everyone a card advantage, everyone extra mana, everyone everything. Everyone gets everything for free. I'm like Oprah, everyone gets mana for free. And this guy combos off on turn 2. Like, no, it's not very fun to see that type of thing when you're just sitting there trying to have a good time. Then they're bringing out Challenger decks style in the tone of Pioneer. Pioneer is a very interesting format. It goes back to a certain date, and it gets rid of fetch lands, and it dumbs down the power level of Modern. but it hasn't changed anything because they made the power level increase in standard. So Pioneer is ultimately, to me, is dead on arrival. This is just a way of getting more modern staples into players' hands, and then these cards are not able to be played in standard, but no one's playing standard right now because standard is completely OP and no one wants to play that power level when they can just play modern or commander. And then Commander Collection Black, they did this for green. It was obscenely expensive. It was like $150 here, because they had a special soul ring in it. Everyone wants their special cards that are meant to their color identity that they really want in the game. So this to me is another from the vault, and it's unaffordable to me. I love the idea of these Commander collections. The way they come out just makes it, no, I won't touch them, because my local game store jacks the price up immensely on these products to the point that it prices me right out of it. I'd rather go out and buy a box of cards and open them here on the channel for you guys. We talked at length about Double Feature. That's great. New releases. Well, we got Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. That was something we spoke about in the leaks video. Streets of New Arena, which is no longer the other one that I spoke about. I don't even remember what the name of it. Celestia, I believe it was. So they changed the name a little bit. So Neon Dynasty looks like it's a cyberpunk, Japanese-inspired sort of fueling magic. It's what happened after The Legend of Korra meets cyberpunk. Pretty much is going to be where that's going to go. Streets of New Capria, think of smooth criminal Michael Jackson with the pinstriped suit and pretty much your case log coming forward. You're going to CSI the crap out of the system. Dominaria United comes back. Dominaria was an amazing set. Dominaria United is going to lead into the Brothers War. I'm telling you now, the two sets are going to be linked. We're going to see these two sets come out and completely lead into each other, and it's going to be a cliffhanger much higher than the War of the Spark, because everyone likes a good war in Magic the Gathering. A war fuels player involvement. It fuels the game. When there is opposing factions, people want to be there and want to see it. So these two sets together are going to probably come very heavily. The Brothers War will be very heavy in artifacts. If it's not, I would be highly disappointed. Dominaria obviously is going to be a return to the sagas, a very powerful sagas and Bendelish Knights at the same time. We're going to see things come out of the woodwork once again for Dominaria United, and I hope the two sets do link very well together. And then, but Neon Dynasty and New Caperna, they're going to be very interesting. They're going to be very unique. They're going to be a lot different than what we've seen with Magic the Gathering thus far. More on the way Kaladesh was with the vehicles, which I absolutely hate. I think vehicles were a mistake. The crew mechanic in itself is just a mistake. I don't like the way it goes. And it sounds like Neon Dynasty might be the return of a vehicle-heavy set, which I really am not a fan of. The one picture with the origami-style raccoon, that's more of an artifact, so we're going to see more artifacts. But, of course, Kamigawa was a pretty powerful artifact set, thinking Sensei's Divining Top, which probably won't come back, but it might come back as a masterpiece in Dominaria or the Brothers War. I believe we're hearing rumors of them coming out with masterpieces in one of these two sets in the very near future as well, which, in all honesty, artifacts and lands like Dominaria United, if you do lands, and artifacts in the Brothers War, it's probably going to do something great to the masterpiece market overall. So here we have the Neon Dynasty, that raccoon that's on the shoulder. I think this is like the Filigree Familiar. It's probably just going to give you like a clue or draw a card or something like that. Maybe it'll find mana for you or a treasure. Streets of New Caperna, obviously Obviously, we're going to be solving someone's murder. Jace gets murdered, and you got to solve it. That's where this is going to go. Or you know what? There's demons in here. It's Liliana gets murdered, and Jace has to solve it with having to sign on to the new demon packs in order to bring Liliana back. Dominaria United. It looks like the gate is going to open. I'm guessing right now, just to throw it out there, THRU opens the gate and brings everyone through from Kaladesh. And the Brothers War, of course, it's going to be Mishra versus Urza. We're finally going to see a Urza go through standard, and it's going to be very interesting. This is probably one of the most anticipated sets of Magic, just because the amount of lore that's behind it. And you can see here, they are setting up the sides. Just throwing this out there, secret layer portal for the Brothers War would be where to go with this. Right? You have the turrets from Portal as a Magic the Gathering card for the Brothers War. So just throwing that out there. Then we have Unfinity, which is going to be the new unset. We knew a new unset was on the way with the rumors. This picture scares the absolute Jesus out of me. I'm thinking I will have nightmares of this. Very indicative of Fifth Element of this, the person that's in the front here. However, the dress looks like it's alive and it's about to eat me. Like down here on the dress, oh my, why are you not tracking my mouse? Either way, down in the dress looks like it's a Neba that's about to jump off and eat me. This scares the absolute bejesus out of me. It looks like a Johnny went through the mirror from Alice in Wonderland, and his head's so big he's about to fall over. We've got a T-Rex with tiny little arms. We've got Devil Knievel, which is supposed to be some Evil Knievel reference, which, if that was the case, where's his bike? Yeah, this is like space meets unsets. It's supposed to be a very joke style-ish, but the last few unsets haven't been, or the last unset wasn't really joke oriented and it was more serious toned. And if you make the unset serious and the actual sets jokes, like the last Modern Horizons with the amount of jokes in it, you kind of miss the mark with the marketing on these. This looks much more like a joke set. There was also that Urza's Funhouse, which I'm going to guess is the board game that comes alongside this, because they were making board games with each set, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see one down the line. Then there's a Dungeons and Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate Commander Legends. I don't know why they didn't release this with the Dungeons and Dragons set. It's more just D&D stuff. Obviously, they had more cards and they just wanted to stretch it out a little bit. Double Masters 2022. I hate this set. It's priced out of my range. I can't buy it. We've got old Seth MacKinnon art. Then we got Jumpstart returning in place of core sets, it looks like. Jumpstart is a relatively good idea for a starter kit. However, the first rendition of Jumpstart was had horribly failed. They had printing issues where things got double inked. They had very limited supply. That you couldn't even get these things. People jacked the price ups of Jumpstart absolutely astronomical. It reached $20 Canadian, $25 I believe is where it got, because it was in such short supply and high demand. The biggest thing with Jumpstart, if the demand can come down and it goes great, then it's a good product. I thought Jumpstart was a great way to introduce someone to Magic the Gathering. You go buy these two packs and you play against your friends. Ultimately, the best way to play Jumpstart is you buy 4 packs, and if you bought 4 packs, you were more likely than not to turn a profit on one mythic that you're going to open up. But you buy 4 packs between you and your friend, and you split the 4 packs, and you say, okay, these two go well together, these two go well together, let's fight. That was the best way to play Jumpstart. It's going to be interesting. They're going to bring more things. Unfortunately, every time they do this, they bring more things to Historic and Arena, and it breaks the game even more. Then they have Exploring Universes Beyond. Warhammer 40k, we knew this was coming. I'm not a fan of this. I don't like Space Marines with guns toting around in Magic the Gathering. I believe this is supposed to be a secret lair. Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth is a full draftable set. This is going to be your summer set, much like Conspiracy. This, to me, I believe was supposed to be originally a standard style set, but they came out and said we're never doing an out IP as a standard set again. Their IPs and products or premier products will stay as Magic the Gathering IP, and they're not going to take from other IPs to make a standard set. It doesn't, and part of that was because they felt the sales for Dungeons and Dragons didn't meet expectations. Well, first off with this, Dungeons and Dragons took place of a core set. You're a relatively low part of sales with Magic the Gathering. So my guess would be that Dungeons and Dragons did no different than a regular core set, and it was sold as a replacement for the core set. So other than a few cards in there that people will want, people were picking up singles, and that's because prices are going through the roof for sealed product right now, and not a lot of people are opening this product because they just don't feel there's the value in them, and there's certain cards that they are going after, like Book of Exalted Deeds. Right off the bat, you just go, okay, I want 4 of this card, and I don't want anything else from the set. That's kind of what happened with the D&D set. They just didn't have the enticingness of it, and they made it more a commander-heavy set. So now you do a commander-heavy set, yeah, people want commander, but once they buy one card from a commander-heavy set, they don't need anything else from it. So why? What was the enticement to actually have sales on this set? There was none. They set it up to fail from the beginning, and now they're reaping what they sowed. So, Tales of Middle-earth will be an interesting take on Lord of the Rings as its own thing. Now we get into Secret Lair. Fortnite Secret Lair. If you didn't see this coming, you haven't been paying attention. Fortnite Secret Lair was probably part of the deal with Magic the Gathering Arena being on the Epic Games Store. That's all I got to say on that. I have no take in it other than jump, build, and shoot, and hopefully those are the cards that we get out of it. Street Fighter. We got Chun-Li showing up on a card. They're talking about multi-kickers. So if they're doing a Street Fighter set, they've got to do all of them and not selected. Because if they only select a couple, then how do you do that? Unless they go with the original 8 from the original Street Fighter 2, which was probably the more sought-after game. Street Fighter 1 was pretty much Ryu or Ken. Street Fighter 2, you had Chun-Li, Ryu, you had Ken, Dazzling, E Honda, Guile, Blanca. I used to play the crap out of Street Fighter 2. Am I missing one? Did I name them all? Ryu, Ken? I don't know. I don't know if I missed one there, but anyway, originally Street Fighter from Street Fighter 2, I could see it. Is it unique enough that I would want to buy it? No. Is this kind of neat? No, these mixing IPs and universes, these beyond, at least they're going to show up in set boosters 6 months after release, so it'll be kind of cool when you open it up there, but as a secret lair, I'm not a fan of these things. What's next for MTG Arena? Why are you talking about Arena? Talk about just standard rotation. That's all we care about here. So, first thing first, you have 6 sets here on the board. Now you have another 4 below. This is where I was saying there's 10 sets going in the next standard rotation. We currently have 8, with 4 of them being dropped off. So from Zendikar Rising, we have Kaldheim, Strixhaven, D&D, Innistrad, Crimson Vow. So Midnight Hut, Crimson Vow. So that's 6. Kamigawa, Carpe Niem, Dominaria United, and the Brothers War. So that makes 10. So it's very interesting because they labeled these in quarter 1 through 4 back up here on the thing. But does this mean that they're changing the date past the Brothers' War for standard rotation, or is this a mistake? I'm not entirely sure. So the Brothers' War is supposed to be quarter and quarter four, and quarter four traditionally is when we see rotation. So is this false? Is this right? Is this wrong? I don't know where to go anymore. So this means Dominaria United and the Brothers' War both come out in summer next year. So that's going to be very interesting. Then they have another set in the fall. So it's, I don't know how they're able to push sets closer together when they need the printers for so many more sets. And they have notoriously had problems with freeing up the printers. So either the sets are rotating out faster or something, I'm not entirely sure. Jumpstart Historic Horizons, which is already live on Arena. And you know what? Arena is its own situation at this point. I will get into that probably when I get the chance to record a Sunday video. And then Magic comes to Netflix. The show's been delayed. So that was the showcase. There was so much to talk about here, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. This is Proud Canadian Phoenix signing off, and you guys have a great day, and just soak in what you can of all of this, because this was a gigantic announcement, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.